When I do sales and marketing seminars for roofing contractors, I like to ask the group if anyone could tell me how they define marketing. A fairly simple question that is sometimes not easy to answer. On one particular day, I received an answer that was unlike any I'd ever heard before. One of the participants said that marketing is making sure all of your employees know your company's story and how they add value to that message. Wow. He provided a great answer that compels me to want to talk about the importance of identifying and managing your moments of truth. A moment of truth is defined as any moment a customer comes in contact with your business and on the basis of that contact forms an opinion about the quality of your product or service. Think about that. Your prospective customers are potentially going to base all of their decisions on the impression you made when you answered their first telephone call, or how clean your truck was when you showed up for the sales call. While this may seem unfair to many of you, it's further complicated by something psychologists call confirmation bias. Confirmation bias refers to a type of selective thinking where people tend to search for or interpret information in a way that conforms to their preconceptions, and they ignore or undervalue the relevance of any evidence that contradicts their preconceptions. For example, if homeowners approach the contractor selection process with the belief that all contractors are trying to rip them off, they will to a certain extent discount the value of what the contractor does well and place much more emphasis on the moments of truth that supports their preconceptions. Now, I know some of you might think that this is unfair and crosses the line between a customer being reasonable and their being closed-minded, but does it really matter? This is about the simple fact that your prospective customers have a perception of contractors, and every moment they come in contact with your business, they're looking for evidence to support those beliefs. The question we should be asking ourselves is this: in what ways do our moments of truth either confirm or reject their preconceptions? I'll give you some examples. A few years ago, I approached a work crew who was building a deck for one of my neighbors. I wanted to ask them for a quote so they could build a deck for my house. Anyway, I walked up to the job site and politely asked if I could speak to the project manager. Upon asking, one of the guys walked over to me. He dropped his tool belt, put his hands up on his hips and said, "I'm the manager. What's the problem?" This guy was totally on the defensive, to the point where I thought we were going to have some sort of an altercation. Now, how does his reaction influence my perception of him and the company that he works for? In another example, I was on a trip to Seattle, Washington, and I had the privilege of doing some sales training for a contractor customer and his sales team. As I walked through their parking lot on my way to their office, one of their yard guys ran up to me, had a big smile on his face, and said, "Good morning, how can I help you today?" Now, I know this may not seem special, but think about it. It was about 6:30 in the morning, and this guy was responsible for loading several trucks so the crews could get to their job site to start their project. He approached me with a level of energy that made me feel like he was there for the sole purpose of helping me. Not only did he stop to say good morning and offer his assistance, he also walked me to the conference room and offered to help me set up. Now, let's suppose I was a homeowner stopping by to set an appointment to have one of their salespeople come take a look at my roof. In what ways does the person who greeted me feed the perception of service excellence? So let's get back to my friend's definition of marketing. He said, making sure all of your employees know your company's story and how they add value to the message. It's my very strong recommendation that you get your team together and task the group with identifying every moment your customer comes in contact with your business. This would include and is not limited to your brand's message and how familiar you are to the markets you serve. It speaks to the way your telephones are answered, the appearance of your trucks and that of your work crews, the way your salespeople present themselves and the materials they use to support their claims, your contract and payment terms and follow-up before, during, and after the project. You'll want to ask your team to identify every moment regardless of how small and have them determine whether your actions leave the customer with the right impression of you. If you, or more importantly your team, identifies an improvement area, you should ask them to determine the steps they will take to improve in that area. Involving every employee in the process is an excellent way to help you protect and enhance your brand message. In addition, you'll find that your employees will gain a sense of pride for the company and take ownership in their role and how they add value. If you're interested in receiving our Moments of Truth worksheet, please feel free to contact us.